game I
get
thought
on
was
the back
Lakers
end
Magic.
of the playoffs.
And you got LeBron, you got Luka, you got Dwight Howard
on the
who was
floor
there being
tonight.
honored,
The Orlando
being inducted
Magic
into the Magic's Hall of Fame. Let's pick this up in the first quarter. How about this pass, Booze, from Austin Reeves? Behind the back, let's take another look.
Austin Reeves is so good, guys. As a third option, phenomenal.
It's a great dish to LeBron. Lakers have the early lead. And then, Bobby, watch Luka Doncic, little jab step. He had 21 in the first half.
You know, that was a sign for bad things to come because we saw a ton of ISO ball last night, certainly in that third quarter when things went awry.
Yeah, that's Doncic to LeBron there, and they have a 2-point halftime lead. But to your point, this is when things went awry from a Laker perspective. Franz Wagner happened. He had a very big night, 32 points for Wagner. That's where the Magic took the lead in the third, and then they just opened it up. Paolo Banchero with a 3. Magic outscored the Lakers 34-18 in the third, and then fourth quarter, they've cut it to 2, but Banchero gets it to go. Banchero had 30. Doncic had 32. Dwight Howard loves it. Look at the moves. Look at the moves from Dwight Howard. How about it, big fella? He's got the moves.
He's got all the moves. Listen, he's been dancing since he got in the league. He got all the moves. He's back home. Congrats to him.
Finally feted in Orlando, but of greater significance, the Magic go on to win it by a dozen. So the Lakers have lost 3 games in a row now. They've all come by double digits. Overall, they've been outscored by 72 points during the streak. They remain 1 game behind the Nuggets for third in the West. Here is what Luka had to say about this recent skid.
I think we just got to look back at the way we play on that 8-game winning streak. We're physical. We play hell of a defense. And I think we just got a little bit satisfied, so we can't afford that right now.
All right, so Booze, we do something on the show that we call bad game or bad sign. This is now 3 straight losses, so we'll call it bad stretch or bad sign for the Lakers.
I got bad stretch. I mean, I do think we're talking about, he'll go on the numbers in a little bit, but I do think the reason why they had this great jump from like 7th, 8th to 2nd seed, now they're in the 4th seed, was their defense. But they're giving up too many points. They gave up 70 points in the paint to the Bulls, 146 points. Last night they had a 41-15 stretch where Orlando just took the game over, ran away with it, had a nice 10 or 12-point cushion. They can't get stops when they have to get stops right now, and that's what's concerning because if you go into the playoffs, as we all know, you've got to get stops to advance.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more of a bad sign, but it's fixable here. And because they showed you when they defend, they can win at a high level. First in defensive efficiency in that stretch of games, 20th since March 2nd here. And if you're not going to defend, you're going to lose in the first round. But that's the small margin for them. Either you can bounce in the first round or you can get to a Western Conference Finals. Minus 46 in transition points allowed the last 3 games. And if you're not getting back on defense, you're not talented enough. As good as Luka and LeBron are, the surrounding parts are not talented enough offensively for you to have a lapse like that.
So, Booze, I haven't had you here since this trade, which obviously was of seismic proportion, kind of shook up the entire league when it happened. So from sort of a 35,000-foot view, LeBron plus Luka in L.A., what does that mean? How good can this team be?
Awesome. I mean, great move by Rob Pelinka getting Luka there. He's 25 years old. He's a first-team All-NBA player every year. I think these are the 2 most cerebral guys with the ball in their hand. They think the game. They make the right play for each other. They make the right play for their teammates. They do a good job of scoring. They'll figure out how to play together. It's the rest of the pieces. Austin Reeves has been an outstanding third piece to me. I think he's dynamic. I think he's untouchable as far as being traded. And the rest of those guys, if Rui can get back to playing as well as he was, Vanderbilt defensively. I love what Hayes has done since he's been there. He's been a very formidable big for them. The rest of the pieces can figure it out. These 2 guys can play together.
Hey, look, styles make fights, and this first round in the Western Conference playoffs, it's just going to be about the matchups. It doesn't matter. The numbers next to the teams aren't going to wind up mattering that much outside of OKC.
Well, I'll say something just because looking back into my days in New Jersey, like I would almost rather have the Lakers be the 6th seed than be in that 4-5 range and face Oklahoma. I know we're looking ahead, but to avoid Oklahoma City in round 2, to basically get your shot at Houston or maybe even Memphis or Denver in that 3-6. I know they haven't played well against Denver, but I think I would rather go that way than be in that 4-5 range. Even if I had they can win games on the road.
Right.
They can win games on the road. They've shown that just to avoid that 4-5 matchup.
Look, you can't really gerrymander your seat as much as you want. Let's see where the chips wind up falling. I want to show one more thing, Cindy. Can we put up 838? Because, Booze, I want you to explain what this means. Since joining the Lakers, Luka Doncic has been spectacular in the first quarter. He averages basically 11 points, 10.8 points in the first quarter of games, which is the best in the league during that span. In the other 3 quarters, he averages just under 17 points per game, and his shooting numbers fall off precipitously. I can guess what that means, but why would I guess when I have you here? When you see that, what does it mean to you?
It means to me he wants to score right away. In the beginning of the game, he wants to put his fingerprints on the game and get buckets and get to the line, whatever that case may be. Throughout the rest of the game, it feels like he's facilitating, and then his offense is a secondary. And maybe he's even deferring a little bit to LeBron James, which we've seen that by other players that play next to him as well. But I will say that for them to go far, he's going to have huge fourth quarters.
There was a third quarter when the game got away where, as Boo said, he deferred. As far as there was a couple plays, he had 2 guys in the corner looking for guys, passed the ball there, missed 3-pointer. That led to transition baskets. And I think to that point, he kind of lets the game dictate itself here, and it may be deferring a little bit too much when he needs to probably.
So it's not about him getting tired as the game goes on?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, listen, in Dallas, you had probably a little bit better pieces around him. I know you do have LeBron, but I still think he's trying to figure this out. Mid-season trades are the hardest things to do because you're basically learning this offense on the fly.
And trying to figure out where do everybody fit? Where do I get Austin Reeves the ball? Where do I get Dalton Connect the ball? Where do I get Hayes the ball? LeBron's going to do his thing. I think he just got there. He is still figuring it out, but can he figure it out in time for the playoffs?
We're going to find out. We've got about a month before that happens. Meanwhile, the team that had a far less significant injury last night, but still could be a big deal. This is Celtics superstar Jason Tatum spraining his left ankle. He did not return to the game last night. He was injured making this 3. His foot comes down on Domantas Sabonis' foot. Sabonis was called for the flagrant for not giving Tatum room to land. Tatum was later seen limping in the locker room. He told our Ramona Shelburne his ankle is, quote, just sore, but that the team is going to be cautious. So I always say, ask a doctor. If you don't have a doctor, ask an athlete when they see an injury what it is they see. You see that play. We all have seen that now a lot. They got to give him room. For his point, Sabonis apologized afterwards, said he felt devastated about the entire thing. When you see that, how bad did that look to you?
No, it did look bad. I mean, obviously, Sabonis didn't mean to twist his ankle, whatever, but he did come back in the game. I think you'd be very cautious with him. I also think that you want this team to be healthy going into the playoffs. They have a chance to actually repeat. Brown is back out there. This wasn't a malicious play at all by Sabonis, but for Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics, big picture, take care of the ankle, make sure he's 100% going into the playoffs.
That's what I meant. I didn't mean how bad is the play by Sabonis, to be clear. Sorry if I wasn't clear on that. I meant how bad did the injury look, Bobby, because that's where, look, the Celtics, they're in a place where they're just kind of dug into where they are. They're not going to catch Cleveland for the 1 seed. They're certainly not going to get caught by the Knicks for the 2 seed. So they're locked into where they are. So as a team, how do they handle a sprained ankle for Tatum? It looked fairly bad.
Well, the remarkable thing about Jason Tatum is he hasn't missed consecutive games all season. He's only missed 6 all year here. And